What's in Javo's, as I call it, auction bag. This is my auction bag. This is what I take out when I go look at cars. So we'll open up the back part. Naturally, I take my phone with me, and it has an app through the auction. So when I walk up to a car, I can scan the VIN, and it gives me some general information. I can find out, according to AutoCheck, if it's had any accidents or not, if it has what they call a condition report, what they have found wrong with the vehicle. Not all cars will have a condition report. I can pull up just some basic information on the vehicle. Outside of that, inside my bag, I keep my scanner so I can go through and check the car for codes. This here is a Centec I picked up at Harbor Freight, I want to say about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's done really well for me out at the auction. I really like it. I can not only scan for codes, but I can also do a monitor test on it as well, so I could see if it would pass Colorado emissions if I was to take it. What you run into a lot of times with cars that have been put up for sale is if it's got codes, they'll clear the codes when they drop it off, and it's going to take a while possibly for those codes to show back up. Well, if you clear the codes on a car before you pull in for emissions in Colorado, it's not going to pass. It has to go through a drive cycle. So with this particular scanner, if I pull it up and I scan it and it says it has no codes, but then I go to see if it'll pass emissions and it says it won't, that tells me that one, it's either had a dead battery, quite frankly, or number two, that somebody has cleared the codes on the car, so I need to look into it a little bit further. But we can get into that further one day. So we have the scanner here. I also carry one of these with me because probably half the cars you get into at the auction are dead, so this here is just a little portable jump box. My wife gave me this for Christmas, and these came from Costco, and I think they were like 50 or 60 bucks. I'll tell you what, I can't recommend this thing enough. This is a great little jump box to put like in your car or take with you out to the auction. There are days that I have used this thing and jump started like 8 cars with it, and it still had power, and so it does a great job. I've been really happy with it. I know there are other ones out there on the market. Maybe one day we'll do a review on this, but this is a great tool to have when you're out there. I also carry with me, these here are my little, what I call my pre-sale inspection pages. And basically what I'll do is I'll go through here and I'll list the auction I'm at, the information on the vehicle. Here's where I'll write down some information like what is native value, trade-in value, things like that. I'll look through here and see what the market research is in terms of wholesale values on the car, what they're selling for on Auto Trader, what they're selling for on Craigslist, how much are they selling for at the local auctions, just so I have some ideas on the auction day of what I'm wanting to bid on the car. And then I'll go down through here, and here's my checklist where I'll go through and I'll check everything from the paint, the rims, the tires, the headlamps, turn signals, the windshield, the seats. Are they power seats? Do they work? Does it have heated seats? What's the carpets like? The floor mats, the window switches, power sunroof, the power rear vents. I do a lot of vans, so there's going to be a few on here that are specific towards vans, which is the power rear vents, and some of the Expeditions have it too, where the back windows kind of pop out, if you will. And so power rear vents, power sliding doors, power lift gate, the door locks, the front AC, and then on top of that, not only am I getting cold air, but is the fan doing high, medium, low, and is it doing defrost, floor, vents? Is it moving through all those cycles correctly? Because that can be really expensive to fix. Does the rear AC work? Does the radio work? If it has an entertainment center, does it work? Does the front and rear wipers work? Does the rear defroster? How about the horn? If the horn's not working, it's possible you have a clock spring issue, but you may have something else. But it just gives you an idea of more things to look into as well. Does it have the owner's manual? Does the e-brake work? How many keys does it come with, and does it have a remote? What does the engine bay look like? Also, if it's 4-wheel drive, does the 4-wheel drive work? Does it work in 4 low, 4 high? Do those work? Does it have a check engine light? And if so, I'll write those codes along here. Another big important thing for me is, does it have the VIN sticker either on the door or on that pillar there? If it doesn't, I'm moving on, because that's a bigger issue for me as a dealer. I don't want to mess with it. Does it have a airbag light on? And I have just a blank here because on a lot of Fords, you know, if you keep an eye on that airbag light, if it's blinking, what you can do is that's actually blinking the code at you, and if you watch it, you can come up with what that code is and then write that down, and you can look it up later and know what the issue is. Does it have an ABS light? Does it have a brake light? Does it have a traction control system? And if it does, is it working? And then what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll list what I think maybe once the vehicle has been reconditioned, what it would sell for. And then how much money would I possibly like to make on the vehicle. And then I'll have a subtotal, and then how much I think it's going to cost to repair. And in this box down here is where I'll put my list of repairs that I need to do. So this is what I estimate repairs would be, how much I think it's going to cost to clean it, and then roughly what the auction's going to charge me. Once I deduct all those from what I think the car sells for, then that gives me an idea of what I want to bid to be able to get the car. So that's my checklist there. In the front, some basics. You got to have a flashlight. I'll tell you what, I am surprised and amazed at how many people I get to come out and look at cars that I have for sale and never even want to pop the hood or even look underneath the car. It just absolutely boggles my mind. Do not ever buy a car that you don't pop the hood and you don't look around in the engine compartment and look up underneath. The other thing I get, and I probably get 4 or 5 of them a year, and once again it just blows my mind, is people that don't even want to drive the car, they just want to buy it. Once again, don't buy a car if you don't drive it. Don't buy a car if you didn't pop the hood on it and look underneath it. The other thing is, that's my advice, is don't go look at a car at night, and don't go look at it in the rain or when it's snowing. You want to look at the car when it's dry and there's plenty of sunshine and you can see things. You don't want the paint wet, because otherwise that could hide scratches and defects in the paint. Make sure it's dry out, make sure you're in good light, and do it during the daytime. The other thing I keep in there that if I may need it from time to time, is I just have a little inspection mirror, and it's got some little lights on there. Well, I'm not going to turn on. You get the gist. There we go. So it's got some lights on it, so if I need to, I can look around. And if I'm looking for oil leaks, things of that nature, I always have sunscreen. So when I'm out at the auction, I got a bald head, got to keep that head covered up. Other than that, I just keep some Kleenexes in here, because that way, you know, if you want to check the oil on something, they're just small and it's easy for me to clean out. So that's what I have in this particular bag here. The other thing I keep in here, funny enough, is, and these are from cars I've bought over the years, but I'll keep some DVDs inside my bag, because like this van here today, it's got a rear entertainment system in it. Well, how do you know that the rear entertainment systems work? And that can be another cost for you to either get repaired or do something with. So I keep some extra DVDs that I really couldn't care less about. These are in cars I've bought over the years. So I keep these in my bag, so when it's got a DVD player, I'll pop that in there and make sure the DVD player is working. So that's my bag. This is my auction bag. Let's start doing our inspection. I'll show you how it works.